And I found something in my non-sleepiness by accident because I was going through all my business posts and, going through the likes and seeing who could like my page and whatnot and going to like them as friends. And then I went on my personal and I was going through my friend requests and doing all that typical, late night, can't sleep, boring stuff that you don't do on a normal day that still needs to get done. But then I accidentally clicked on one of my personal posts and I'm like, oh my God, why wasn't I thinking of this before? Now you have to be careful. You can get put in Facebook jail because Michael did last night. But Facebook jail is not so bad. It's just like a timeout corner. I'm going to show you something because it's really cool. And you know what? I actually got 2 leads this morning and 1 already opted in just from doing that last night, and it was all free. Let me share. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
So what I did is I was on my personal, and I thought I was on my business page because a lot of my posts are the same. But I went to go do the same thing on my personal as I always did on my. See, like, although I just did this last night, so I might not be able to show you guys too much, but I'll try and find it. So you click here again, like you always do on your business page, and go to the bottom, and you can scroll down. Oh, this one I already did all. But anyway, some of these will show up as like not friends yet, and they'll be because most of ours profiles are all public now. Anybody can find you and look you up. And if they've looked at your business page and went and looked at your profile and liked one of your posts but never friended you, never liked anything on your business page, and never got never liked your business page, they might still find something on your personal page that they like, and then that's the only way you can find them. So I'm just going to try and go way back and see, and especially the ones where people tag you, like Matthew Jang tags you or somebody tags you, go in, because there's so many people on there that I had 0 friends with or 1 friend with, or like maximum 2 friends with. And I'm like, oh my God, all these people are leads. They don't know who we are. They're not part of the community. Otherwise they'd have like 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 friends mutual, right? These people all only had 1 mutual friend or less. And I'm like, oh my G. These people are all new leads. And yeah.
So you just went and add them.
Sorry. Add them as a friend, and by morning, I had like 3 messages. Oh, actually probably more like 5 messages this morning of all like, hey, how do I know you? And I just played it off super simple, like, oh, I don't know, maybe you liked one of my posts. My profile's public as I'm whatever.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, did it work? Like this one. I did that one. Fuck. I gotta find an older one. Just wait. But like stuff like this where people have tagged you in it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's kind of mean, but like they could be leads of like people that have been following these other people for a long time, but they haven't connected with them. And you go in and you like them as a friend, and you start connecting with them because you just like started this whole new relationship. They've gotten all these notifications from you, and they're like, who the fuck are you? And like this one guy this morning was like, well, I've been wondering what affiliate marketing was. I've never looked into it. Yeah, tell me more. And then all of a sudden I got him registered for the webinar tonight, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, that was easy.
Nice.
That was easy. And all I had to do was go through my personal and find friends. Okay. I think I did that one already. Sorry, I just got to go back because I did so many last night.
So what I've done in the past, and I mean, I still do it now, like if someone likes, whether it's on my business page, any post, I click the friends list and then I add them as a friend. So they go to my personal profile, and then oftentimes they'll either message me like, oh, how come we're friends type of thing, or I'll message them and I'll just be like, hey, how's it going? Thanks for liking my post, blah, 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 blah. And then they just become friends on my personal page, right?
Yeah, same idea, same concept, right? Yeah. And that's why I got all effed up last night, because I saw this on my business page because I was half asleep. But I was on my personal, I'm like, why is it showing up like friends instead of invite? And I'm like, go to the bottom, and I'm like, wow, there's 50 friends on this one post that aren't my friends, and half of them only have 1 or 2 mutual friends of mine. I'm like, that means they're fucking leads. Like, that means because my profile is public and one of their friends seen some of my posts and shared it, now it's getting shared to them and they're like the algorithm, right? And I'm like, I fucking love Facebook algorithm. I'm going through all of my personal posts and doing this. And I got Michael doing it. But I have in the last like month been accepting a shit ton of friend requests and like sending out a lot of friend requests. So Facebook didn't put me in jail when I went through all like 10 posts last night, but Michael went through 2 posts and got put in Facebook jail. So if you haven't been accepting a lot of friend requests or giving out a lot of friend requests lately, go slow. Do 1 post at a time per day, because you will get locked out for about 24 hours because they'll think that you got a robot running your stuff.
Yeah, because they ask you, right? Like, only send friend requests to people you know or things like that, right?
Mm-hmm. They just think something weird's going on if you're not constantly doing that. But for me, this month, I've been doing it a ton because I caught up on my friend requests. I went through, like, I had like 400 friend requests because I didn't pay attention all summer. Yeah, it was terrible. So, like, see, all these I've done already. Damn it. Sorry, guys. I didn't plan this out very good. I was just so excited last night. I was like, oh my God. Took me like 5 minutes and I had like, 100 new leads that I didn't know about. And they were sitting right there for me this whole time. And I had no idea. So I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But yeah, and it's working for me to get those organic leads. And I think this is something that we should continue to do on a regular basis. So it's not like a big poof ball all at once, right? Like every day, especially when you get tagged and stuff. Like this is huge, right? Oh my gosh. Why did I do this already to all these? I'll find one. Unless somebody else wants to share their profile and we can go through that. Because maybe mine's just like, you're done for the day.
I'm just running from my phone, but I could try it.
Anybody on their phone? What about this one? This one's probably got 169. Here we go. This one will have something. Especially when you get tagged and stuff, right? Because when you're getting tagged and stuff, now it's getting sent out to all their friends and they might not know anything depending on how much that person is actually on their personal about their business. And how many people actually, you know what I mean? It just keeps getting sent out. The more friends that like it, the more people that go on. So, I don't know why my computer's being so slow. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, let's see. There's got to be some people on this one that I haven't done yet. Lila, what are you chewing? Stop chewing on my pillows, you shit. Yeah, I was just super stoked. And then this morning when I got like 2 people opted into the webinar, I was like, fuck, yeah, see, look at this. I did this all last night. All these people, 1 mutual friend, 1 mutual friend, 2 mutual friends, only 10. Like all these people. Well, those ones maybe not so much, but I just went on a fucking right away. Derek Gal, 2 mutual friends, so many people. 3. It's crazy. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why haven't I been doing this the whole time? Like it's getting me leads for free because of the algorithm, because of the way Facebook works. Oh, this person wants me to respond. Oh, these people I didn't. I don't want that one. That one's okay. This one's okay. But sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was super, super cool. Easy way, especially through the holiday months and stuff. This is a way, if you're posting really good content through December, that you can still be getting leads without having to pay for them. Because December, like everyone's warning all of us, we need to start working on our organic. We need to start dealing with that. Candace, I know you showed up late. I found something really cool last night when I couldn't sleep. And you might already know this, but I did not. I thought I was on my business page, so I was going through all the people that had liked my post, but it was actually my personal page at 2 a.m. And I was going through and I noticed that like some of my posts that have like 100 likes had all these friends, because my profile is public, that only had like 2 or 3 mutual friends, or even 1 or none, right? They're all strangers to me and strangers to the business. And I went through and I added them all as friends, like on all my personal posts on my personal profile. And I woke up this morning and I had like 5 people interested in what I did just by doing that. So I know, right? So for organic, especially because our profiles are public, anybody can look us up and go on there and see stuff. If they've seen, a Cat Martin and they search my name, which I should probably change my name because nobody can ever find me, but it's not coherent. But yeah, I woke up and I already have 2 people registered from the webinar just from doing that at 2 a.m. for nothing. It took me 5 minutes. So it's really cool, but you have to be careful. You can get put in Facebook jail if you're not going through a lot of friend requests on a regular basis. So go slow. Like Michael got put in Facebook jail, but only for like 24 hours. It's not a huge deal. You just can't send out any friend requests, right, during that time. So it's not like they'll flag you, but I don't think anyway. But yeah, it's really cool. I was really stoked on it. Like 169 likes, and probably 50 of them are all people that have no idea what the business is. So it's really cool. Anything else?
Very cool.
Yeah, hey? Especially for like, who's talking?
I was, sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I want you to talk, I just couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying, I just finally been going through all my photos and stuff that I don't want public. So I'm like almost completely like privatized so that I can fully go public on my profile. I mean, people don't need to see me having a baby. I mean, cool, but no.
Yeah, that's a cool idea, right? Like, I don't really have too much on my page on my personal. It would be from so far back. Like, they'd really have to dig into me to find something that maybe, for me, I'm like, whatever, fuck it. But,
Yeah.
and honestly, if they want to find it, they're going to find it anyway. To me, they want to
Yeah,
find it.
I have lots of stuff on mine. Like, I use this
exactly
as like an online storage for my photos. And now that I have like this, I'm like able, like, I don't really want to share that part of my life with the world.
Actually, you know what? My girlfriend, Crystal Herman, she does a lot of things like that. Like every post, she'll pick whether she wants it to be public, private, whether she only wants 3 people to see it, because she's the same thing. Not in this, but she's in a lot of different online companies. And so she's continuously, every single post, she's picking who sees it.
Yeah.
And it's not hard for her because it's just habit now, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing.
Like getting into that habit, I'm like, fuck it. It's all public. Go. On social media, I just want to put it on there.
Well, it's hard too if anybody is wanting to do that. Like whatever you uploaded into your profile pictures, your cover photos, and your mobile uploads, you have to do it picture by picture. And I had 896 pictures in my mobile uploads, and I had to do it one by one. So I mean, I picked and choose from the crop.
Yeah, like if we were smart back in the day and made albums of like the specific, then you could have just made that specific album. Yeah, I know. If we were smarter back then, but we weren't in 2007. So
I got lazy. I used to do albums, and then I was like, well, I don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I was really stoked on that little tip. I was like, oh, I gotta wake up and tell everybody, because I think it's a really easy way to get a couple extra leads. Yeah, and a good way to practice, especially, going through Christmas and going through all these things. Another way to gain organic leads. We have these public profiles. We should be utilizing them a little bit more for that kind of stuff. And tagging is extremely important, because the more you tag, the more people are going to see what's going on. Hi, Kate. So what we were talking about prior, I'll just give you a quick rundown. I am recording, so you can go back and watch what I did, but later. But what I found out at like 2 a.m, I was super tired, and I thought I was on my business page, but I was actually on my personal profile, because a lot of my posts are very similar. And I was going through, and when you click on like who liked your post, you can invite them to your page on your business one. Well, on your personal profile, it just shows, you're friends with them. But then on this one post, half of them weren't my friends. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? So I went through, and half of these people didn't have any mutual friends with me. I only had like maybe 1 or 2. So that tells me that those are leads, right? They're not part of the community. They're people that have looked me up on my public profile. And now I can go through that and invite and send a friend request to them. And guess what happened this morning? I went through like 5 posts last night and did that with all of the people that, you know, had only very few mutual friends with. Some of them had none. Like they were literally complete strangers to everything. And I woke up today and I had 5 people interested in the business, and I sent already 2 of them to the webinar. So it's a really, really easy way. It didn't take me that long. I was half asleep, and I woke up this morning to a whole bunch of messages, and it was free. And it's a way to utilize that public profile that you guys are all running and gain more organic leads. But yeah, Carolee, I know you just hopped on late, but I recorded this so you can come back and watch the first 10 minutes. It's a really good little tip I just learned last night about finding more leads on your actual profile and how to utilize them. But I'll post it here later today. But anyway, so it's Monday. Who watched the webinar last night?
I did. It was awesome.
Yay! Well, anybody? Yeah, Candace. I knew you did.
I'm not on that webinar.
I
We
know.
had Shauna's, Jared came on. Hey, Mikey.
What up?
Yeah, so no, it was good. He talked about closing the $99 front end and kind of touched on a few things. So that was pretty sweet.
Good.
Gosh, I wish I had his energy level. He's like vibrating as you talk to him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Jared,
What?
he vibrates his energy levels. Jared.
Jared.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. No, wait.
He's hyper. Yeah, okay. So, Carolee, Candace, what's one big thing that you learned from last night? And Carolee, you can go first because you're unmuted.
Yeah, I'm kind of working. I might have to jump off. But I totally, the more and more every day, being in the community, and maybe I don't post a lot because I'm still kind of a little self-conscious about it and stuff, but it's just the whole process of learning about yourself, and every day you learn something different, and my God, I just want to cry right now.
Aww.
It's crazy.
Yeah, last night was actually a huge webinar for like I watched the whole thing. I was only on probably the last quarter of it, but it was huge. Like everything that, even us, like we learn every single day. It doesn't ever stop. And it's like last night someone said one thing and I'm like, yep, wow. We needed to hear that, right? Because at first we used our emotions as fuel, and now we're using our emotions for like fire. Like we're not using them to fuel our business like we used to. We're not using that anger and that depression to push us to do better anymore. We're using it to just conflict our relationships and everything that's happening in our daily life, because we don't need it. We don't necessarily need it as fuel anymore. We're comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So that was huge for us last night, and I love it when that happens, when you just have like this light bulb moment and you're like, holy fuck, that's what I needed to hear today.
Yeah.
But Carolee, just before you pop off, because I know you might not be able to stay for the whole thing, what's your weekly goal? And were you able to? We hit over $200,000. Sorry guys. Yeah, okay, I'm really super stoked right now. What was your goal this week?
Well, I actually just got on and did another post engagement this morning, so I was super stoked about that, and I totally see where that goes, and keep on learning.
Perfect. And did you set a goal for last week? Were you able to accomplish that goal? What were some things that you want to carry on to this week?
I've totally been reading every single day, so and that kind of was my goal last week, was just keep really.
You're kind of cutting in and out there, babe, but I think we got the gist. You want to continue reading and growing and loving and being awesome. because you are awesome.
Yes, exactly.
Ah, that's awesome. Okay, let's start at the top and work our way down. Mike, what did you learn from the Zooms this week? What are your goals, and what are you going to carry on from last week? Because you were hustling last week. You got lots of guys. Hey, you were doing really good. You know it works. You can continue.
I got the 2 guys, but the one guy actually backed out.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's okay.
He didn't tell me that he lost his job a couple weeks ago, so if I don't have the information, I can't go on it, right? But whatever, move on, go to the next one.
You know what? You've done it. You did it twice in 1 week. You can do 3 times this week. You know what I mean? It's possible.
Well, this morning I was actually talking to a longtime friend of mine who's wanting to get in on it. And the last couple of days I got no leads, but in the hour I was talking to her, I went back and checked my back office. I got 2 leads.
Nice. See?
And she's going to be my 3rd, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, you just have to, we're all going to, I know last week it happened to a lot of us. I know Kate, Candace, I think it happened to you too, Mike. Our leads got opted in under someone else. But you know why the universe does that to us? Because they weren't ready to come in the business the way we needed them to anyway. They were more ready for someone else to take charge of them. You guys want the people that are going to take charge and make a decision when they immediately, right? You guys want to know that these people, they're taking charge and they're coming in under you and they're going to succeed. And it happens all the time, but you have to let go of those emotions from last week and move on to this week and know, hey, I did it twice last week. That's all I need to know. Because now this week I'm going to do it 3 times.
Yeah.
Right? And this week we're going to find the people that are actually going to benefit us. Because last week I found the 2 people, but they didn't benefit me. Or I guess one did, right? But, you got 50%. So this week aim for 60%. Aim for 60% of your leads to actually benefit you. And keep aiming for, make it a numbers game. Don't make it an emotional game. Right? Yeah. That's the way I do it, because I'm very much a numbers person. So, if I had 99 opt-ins and whatever, and I got so many leads from that, I would take that as a percentage and try and beat that percentage next week, instead of take it as, oh, I didn't get Kaylee.
Yeah. I'm the same way with my work stuff.
At first, I treat them all like a number because I don't want to get that emotional thing to it, because it's hard. It's totally hard when someone else gets opted in under someone else. It sucks. And it wasn't it in this last week for a lot of people on our team. And, with Candace, we did do some investigating and we found out the lead was lying.
For which?
For me, she's just bull-faced lied. And Kat, you know what? After Mike sent me those screenshots, I was like, hey, Darwin has proof of your interactions. She's like, really? I only said 2 things to him. I'm like, yeah, and that's why I don't want it on my team. You can't lie. That sucks. I hate when people lie. That is the worst. When dishonesty or people just, I hate that. That, nothing more. We do not connect. Have a nice one. Bye. Out of here. I hate that.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been good anyway. And half of the time, the people that do the lying to try and get their way are broke. Every time I have to deal with a lead that's lying to me and trying to change it, get me to do some dirty things to change what's going on with them, and I'm like, it's just always a bad feeling, right? It's fuck, I'm trying to break the rules for you, and it doesn't feel good.
Well, Dustin had, for me, I don't care. I'm looking at things differently than he is right now, but I, made a different, uphill thing. But, for me, it's well, obviously, she's not meant to be on our team. And then she proved it to me within the same, day. And he's like, but, honey, I'm like, but, honey, she's not going to do anything good for us if she's already lying. If she's not going to give us anything, really, because what is she going to do with her team?
Michael, you should probably touch on that. Give Candace some advice for Dustin, because you would have acted probably the same way, because you are
I would have acted the same when I found out that she was broke, though.
No.
Right? But, the thing of it is, I would have probably acted the way Dustin was. It was just well, fuck, she opted into our webinar and she was talking to us and blah, 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 but little, after I would have got the whole story, I would have been, well, fuck the bitch, right? 'Cause, you know,
We're
like,
recording.
sorry, but like, you know what I mean? Because like when I like exactly what me and you talked about yesterday, Candace. It was just like she was literally lying through her teeth. There I am at 11:30 at night on a Saturday, right, running around trying to track all this stuff. Right. And then when I went in the back at AWeber with Brandon, he's like, look, see, and I'm like, and then I'm like, hey man, you got conversations with him to Darwin? He's like, with her? And he's like, oh yeah, dude, I've been talking to her since August 1st. And he's just like, gave me a bunch of conversation. And I'm like, no.
Sorry,
cool.
man.
So
yeah, because then it makes us look like idiots too when we go around and being like, we need that lead. You know?
no,
You're
I just,
right. Even me, I felt like an idiot because I asked her.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I straight out asked her, I'm like, did you talk to anybody? I'm like, even maybe by accident, just trying to see if it was the same thing. And she's like, no, nobody. I've not spoken to anybody.
Yeah.
And then Mike sends me those, and I'm like, Cable, you have? And she's like, I only said 2 things. And I'm like, dude, there's like 3 screenshots.
said 2 things. You literally talked to the guy for like 3 days and then opted into his webinar. Like the same one you watched with me. Did you not recognize the people that were in that replay? Like, fuck.
But yeah, it's just funny like how people can really play with us, and our emotions get so excited with leads, and then you end up having to do things that you're like, man, I wish I didn't do that. Like, because, you know, I don't know. But leads are leads, they're numbers until they are a part of your team, is how I take them. Like, you have to relate to them, you have to treat them like you understanding their story and the messaging. That's all people to people. But when it comes to your numbers and your emotions tied to that person, they are a number. They are a percentage, and you have to keep them as that, like a number in your back office, because otherwise we get our heart stuck on a lead and we want to help them, and they end up saying things like, but I don't want to be on this person's team. And you're like, yeah, I would really love to help you, because you may know that other person isn't the greatest mentor, or they don't have the best uplines to help that person. Because we're all biased here. I'm pretty sure, like, between Project Freedom and Freedom Tracks and this group, we have probably the best mentors in our little section of GAS, because we see it. We have people come in from the other side of GAS and are like, wow, what are you guys doing and how are you learning stuff so fast? And it is because we take the time. And it sucks when we have to turn people away and say, we can't do anything for you. You already chose to be on that leg, and that's the way it is. And we can help them once they get the back on the other side, because I do it for a ton of people, right? That's fine, but we can't do anything. We can't play dirty. We can't, that person paid for Kim, that person paid for Kaylee, just like you're paying for everyone else. And if somebody came and did that to us, me and Mike would fight for you guys to keep that lead, even if you had never talked to them, right? They just opted in on your webinar. Me and Mike would fight tooth and nail to keep that lead because you paid for it. If someone else was like, but I've been talking to them for a month, and played that game with us and you guys, because that is the name of the game.
I've got a bit of a scenario like that. Last week, I was talking to a lady, and Kate actually had more info from her as well.
Yeah.
And I talked to you about her too.
Yeah.
I told her, if you opted into that first person's thing, you're with them. Yep. And she goes, her response was, oh, well, he doesn't communicate. And so when I get everything set up, because I just moved, she goes, I'll just go in under a different email. I was like, but that's not how it works.
Yeah. There's
so
on the other side.
If she tries to come back into me as a lead with a different email, how do I deal with that? Because if he notices her, then he's going to think I took it.
You can't control what they do.
Yeah.
Exactly. You really can't.
Prove that you told her not to do it and say, look, she did it anyway. There's not much he can do.
And he's also not really doing his job, right? Like, he's not standing up to it and taking his lead.
If that lead chooses to do something like that, it's just like, we cannot be the ones to say, go do that.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Well, I can fight for you guys. Like how Candace, her lead, said she'd never talk to anybody. That was a different scenario, right? Like, I will fight tooth and nail for you guys if it means that person sincerely said that they've never touched a webinar, and for some reason there's a glitch in the system and she's coded to someone else. Me and Mike fought tooth and nail for Candace for that lead, but then we found out that the lead was lying.
Which
Okay.
sucks
Do we
on
get
my heart and on Mike and Kat's, because now I feel bad. I took their time all because of somebody that's a freaking liar that I don't want on my team anyway.
fight for you. But when it comes to stuff like that, it's really hard for us to fight, because it's like, if you guys were the other person on the other side, I would fight tooth and nail for you to keep that lead. You know what I mean, Mike?
Yeah.
For that
Yeah.
other person, because that person is paid for that lead in some way, and you may have too, but that person got the first opt-in, and that's the name of the game here. And we,
Opportunity is that-
like I said, we have fought in the past, and we will, depending on the scenario. For scenarios like that, probably not. But if she comes in under you with a different email, and you've told her no, and you can prove that, there's nothing we can do. She's just broke the rules and go ahead with it. So I don't think there's anything we can do, and we can prove that she just did this, and even though we said no, and she's obviously your lead now. But
So, Mike, did you try to connect with the other guy or no? Her original buy-in?
Not yet, no.
No. Because this happened to me maybe a month ago with a lead that Aaron Fraser had like months and months ago. And he didn't say anything at first. And then afterwards, we kept on talking. We got on a call, and then I discovered that he had talked to somebody. So I messaged Aaron right away, and I said, look, like, this is what's happening and so on. Like, I don't want to take the lead from you. And he's like, I talked to him many times, and he's kind of a dead lead. But if he's ready to go with you, then take it type of thing, right? So and he never ended up panning out. But just the courtesy of connecting with him and be like, hey, this is what's happening, and you either get your ass on her or I'll take her.
totally, right?
Okay.
Like, anytime you can contact the other person. If that lead is like, I want to be on your team, and that is fine. If you want to go to that person, see, hey, what's going on? Why is this lead not connected? She really wants in the business, so just word it in a way that's like, you either have to step up your game, or are you willing to give her to me because she wants to be on my team. She wants to be in this business, but she didn't connect with you. So either you got to step up your game, or she's going to walk away and no one wins.
Yeah, okay.
I think
But
it
about
just
that,
creates a lot of integrity too within yourself, right? Like,
yeah, and you feel better once you know that you're not doing anything sneaky, and you can tell that person. That's what I would say. I'm like, this person is threatening to use a different email and come in under me, and I've told her no. So you either have to step up and win this girl over, or she's going to do this. And I can't control that because I've already told her no. That would be more valuable to you, Mike, and that would be more valuable to you in the community, because people see it and know you. And if you stand up for other people's leads and say, no, you got to go back to that person, people will love and respect you more than if you're sneaky and just let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it'll come back to you.
It'll 100% come back to you. I've had to do it so many times. Like, my one really good friend from Fort St. John signed up under Ashley McKenzie. And I'm like, but I love Ashley, and I think she has a really good setup, and she coaches her team well. So I was honest. I said, yeah, because she contacted me and was like, how do you feel about me being on Ashley's team? I opted in with her. She is a good team leader. And I'm like, really don't understand how this works, hey? I'm like, fuck you, friend. But in the same sense, I had just sent all of my messages were promoting Ashley and making Ashley look like this amazing leader that she should sign up with, because she's already up, she's not my lead, even though she's my best friend, and I could play that card on Ashley and Ashley wouldn't gave her to me any freaking fee. But that doesn't make me feel good, because I'm just begging for my lead now, and she wasn't even ever lead. I'm just begging for my friend because she's my friend. No, Ashley worked for her. Ashley got her, so I pointed her back to Ashley and gave her all the things. And then I went and messaged Ashley and I said, hey, I just talked to Cassandra. She's really stoked on coming in. I got her interested in a trifecta for you. So hopefully, get selling her that trifecta and don't let her get away with anything less. And now Ashley messages me back and says, wow, thank you. I'll hit you back. You know?
Yeah.
About that lead Mike had. What happened? Well, I didn't really talk to her, but she had a more info comment on my ad, like a couple hours I think before she opted into Mike's webinar. And what would it be? I mean, I did
you too. Oh,
yeah, as well. I was involved too. So she commented on me first, and afterwards she opted into Mike's webinar. And
so she opted into Mike's webinar, but she wasn't coded to Mike. So she just pressed the link.
Well, she opted in before under another guy.
Mhm.
Then she commented on my post, and afterwards she opted into Mike's webinar.
I have names for people like that. I call them.
Yeah, she told me
the magic lips.
when I told her how it worked. That we're I said look, that's how it works. We don't steal each other's teammates. And she was like, well, I was just shopping around. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You don't
call them names.
You know, what would be, I mean, I didn't really talk to her. I have no connection to her.
Actually, I really love what Ken.
But what if I would have talked to her like for 3 weeks, and then she would have opted into somebody else's webinar, then she's coded to them, but she hadn't made contact to me first.
Yeah.
What would happen in that case?
You know, like we actually had, and speaking of Aaron Fraser, this happens to us all the time because a lot of Aaron Fraser's targeting is very, 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 very similar to Mike's. So we get a lot of the same leads as he does. I'm just looking for a lighter. A second. We get a lot of same leads. So it has happened to us many, many, many times. And like before, I guess I'll call her Caitlin. Gosh, we have so many Kates right now. Just a second, be quiet. Mike's on a coaching call.
We don't let you because if you're just some dude that wants us to take our system. Right?
Sorry, he was on a coaching call and I didn't want to go with her. And like Kate, it was one of her best friends, and she had been talking to him personally offline for the last 2 months. And then he seen it on Facebook and just thought it was the same thing because he also knew Aaron Fraser, thought it was the same thing, didn't understand about coding, and clicked on Aaron's link and never had spoken to Aaron, never had done anything. And he bought in shortly after. And Kate's like, "You're not in my back office. What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just bought in. What are you talking about?" And he had no idea what he had done. So those are times when you go to the other person and you explain the scenario, and they still have the ultimate decision, right? They still have, it's their lead. They paid for it, even though Kate had been working on it for 3 months.
Like Kate, the guy or the girl that I was talking about this morning, we've been talking to her since May. And we've sent her our link multiple times because she keeps coming back and talking to us. But then she went and talked to Darwin August and actually followed through with his link. And so it's coded to him, and then came back to us again and said, "No, I really want to be under you. This is what I want. I'm not going into the business without going under you, blah, 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 blah." But she opted in with him, so she's coded to him. And honestly, those type of people, like, in my opinion, in my outlook, like, if you can't commit right out the gate, like, I get it. People shop around or look around or whatever, and they don't understand. But if they're going to lie and they're going to, you know, be dishonest.
It would have been a different story if she was telling the truth. You know what I mean?
If she was like, "Yes, I didn't realize this is how it worked," or whatever, that's different. But what are they going to do when they come on and they are leaders and they are having their people? Are they going to go and be sneaking around in the back office and, you know, taking other people's leads? We don't want that. I mean, I don't want that.
It's about integrity, you guys. Gaz is about integrity. So no matter how hard we work, sometimes our integrity comes first. And like karma, right?
My message back to
it was so epic. I would love for you to read it out loud. But
it wasn't rude at all. It was just like, I said, "Hey, Tasha, so the guy you've been talking to, Darwin, is your sponsor. He has screenshots of your interaction. So unfortunately, because you initially followed his link, that's he's your sponsor." I said, "Honestly, though, we all have great leaders and you will still have access to everything in the community. And it's still an amazing opportunity, whether we sponsor you or Darwin does. I hope you're not discouraged as this is a minor thing in regards to what an amazing opportunity you're about to embark in. So we'll see you on the inside. Wish you great things and success in your business.
Fuck yeah.
Because,
You know, and in like, speaking of Kate's scenario too, that 3 months of talking to her lead, she should have got him opted in a lot sooner. And she learned a huge lesson that day because she
Yeah.
panicked. And ever since then, now Kate is on it because she hated that we had to go to Erin, one of our best friends, and beg for her lead. Right? She hated that feeling. And same with you, Candace and Dustin. You hated that feeling once we came back and was like, your lead's lying to us. And we just went through all this shit. And now we look like idiots. And it's a terrible feeling. But it's something that we all will deal with at certain points. So you just have to prepare yourself and learn from those mistakes. Where did you go wrong? What questions didn't you ask? What, you know, like what should I have done to get this person to initiate quicker?
well, see,
Because
we
that's
did-
all what Kate did. She forgot, she didn't get that person to opt in. She kept meeting with him in person and explaining everything. That guy knew everything to like products, everything, like knew everything, but Kate never got him opted in.
See, but we sent our link multiple times. It wasn't a fact.
Oh, and that's not your fault, right? And it's just,
But like to take it further, we never went to go check that she had in fact opted in. We didn't check the lead list. We just assumed that because she knew what we were talking about, that she'd opted in with us, but she didn't.
yeah, exactly. So we all learn little lessons along the way of how to handle our leads better, how to get them to understand that you cannot go shopping around, you know, in a way that doesn't scare them away either. So it's all.
The chat. I don't know if we give you the post price.
You don't have any
Talking to us, or are you talking?
No, it's not. No.
No, okay, I'm gonna mute her. I don't think she is either. She's, but yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that because it happened a lot last week, and like me and Mike will always fight tooth and nail for you guys if we find the scenario is worth fighting for, because we've been through it probably, 50 times over. With our own leads, with our team members' leads, with everything. And like, we will always fight tooth and nail for you, but we also have to know the whole story. And we also, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. And sometimes, so it's just the way the system's set up, and we have to learn our lessons from every single one and figure out where we could do better next time. So I just wanted to touch on that quickly, but we won't like dwell on it because it's kind of a crappy topic for the start of the week. But let's get back to goals and like what we are going to achieve, because now we've gone through all this shit last week. And how are we going to, push through and get more leads in and get more buyers? So Mike, you got 2 in last week. One's a buyer. This week you're going to aim for
3.
3. Perfect.
5, 7,
Yeah.
9.
You've done it twice in 1 week. You can do 10 in 1 week. It's not a big deal. And yeah, I fucking love it. So awesome. Okay, so Kaylee, I haven't heard much from you today. You've been a little quiet. Let's hear your beautiful voice.
I've just been enjoying all the information. I took the weekend off to kind of go camping and get out in nature where I kind of recharge the best. So I'm coming back Monday feeling better.
That's good. So what was your goal last week, and did you achieve it? Did you come close?
My goal last week was for 99s, which was pretty big. I came close. I mean, all 3 that I was working with, I'm still speaking with. The one I kind of knew was a long shot. I knew what her income was, and I knew that for her, just knowing her income, that it was kind of a long shot, but I wanted to give her the option to see if she could make it work somehow, because I knew how important it was to her as well. But I'm still working with them, and I haven't lost any of them. And I went from like having 0 leads in my back office at the beginning of last week to having 11 leads in my back office this week, and getting more info comments every single day for the last week straight. So for me, that's just Yeah.
Huge.
Beyond anything it's that I've done so far.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on that too. This day, 365 days ago, me and Mike made the ad that made us $15,000 in last November. Our first big month. Before that ad, we had only made one sale. And when we say you're, like a foot away from gold, it is true, you guys. Like Kayla, you just got your first ad that's actually getting you more info leads every single day. Mike's getting $99 buyers like crazy, and that's awesome. Candace, everybody, and it takes one ad. And ever since that one ad that we did, 360, it popped up in my memories today, and I'm like, oh my God. And then today, we'd had that one ad 365 days ago, and then today we just hit our $200,000 in our company. Like, huge. Like today, October 2nd is our day every single year.
Everybody needs to congratulate. Woo, woo, woo. That's huge, dude. I'm so happy for you guys.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. He just calculated it all up, and I was like, no. Like we just by 2000, we're like 202. So that's crazy. I'm so stoked. By the end of the year, I want to hit that $500,000. And I think we're on the right route, you guys. Like we're all hustling. Like what we've done as a team in the last 2 weeks is more than me and Mike have done on our own in a whole month. And if we can all keep that going, we're all going to be consecutively making the big money. We're all working towards it, and it's happening fast. And and Natick's been really slow this last couple of weeks because of the being shorthanded at the Vancouver office and stuff. But it's happening, and we have finally come so far in everything that now it's not only just me and Mike succeeding. Every single one of you is having these moments of success and these moments of, wow, this is actually fucking working. And it's huge to see. Like this whole month, I've just been blown away by inspiration of like how we're actually finally helping our team change their life. Because it has been a long year, and up until the last couple of months, like half of our team was seeing sales, but half of them were still working really hard. And it wasn't until now that all of you guys are now seeing all these little glimpses of success and seeing that it is possible and it is happening for you guys. And any single one of you can come up and beat us. Just look at what Jesse Garnier did. He came up and blew Brian out of the fucking water. You all can do that. You all can kick our fucking ass. Like what we've achieved in 365 days, some people have achieved 800,000. We've achieved a quarter of that, of what some of the people in this company have done. So all of you can achieve what we've done and more in 365 days. It's fucking huge. And I know you are all capable, and I can't wait to fucking be standing up on stage with every single goddamn one of you, holding one of those big ass checks.
It feels good to hold the check. I held cash, and it was pretty sweet. And my name's gonna be on one next year. I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, that moment when we got the check, it was a really awesome feeling. But honestly, this whole month has been a better feeling, because that check was it wasn't as much of a team effort. This month has been such a team of success and team of like everybody changing their life this month, and like what Dustin and Candace have gone through this month is huge to me. Like it just blows my mind of the amount of like all of you. Like this month is more of a feeling than that holding that check was. And Candace, like you said, holding that check was a huge feeling. Imagine how I'm feeling right now, because I'm feeling 10 times more happier now after this month than I was that day. I was stoked because what we had achieved, but this month is so much more huge for me, because I know now it's possible for every single one of you to come out and do the same. And it's just like, every morning I wake up and I'm just so grateful for every single one of you, because I know that all of us are going to stand on that fucking stage next year. Every single one of us. because you're all here. You all show up. You all do what it takes to be successful. You all are doing the same things that me and Mike did 365 days ago. And it's just like, it's going to happen so quickly. Like the last year has flown by, and it's insane. Just like how I said last night, days go by so quickly. You wake up, you take your kids to school, and all of a sudden it's 3 p.m. and the day's gone. How you live in every single moment is going to set the tone for each and every goal. If you allow your bad moods to get in the way of your goals and you allow one day to go to shit, that's one day longer that you're going to take to have to get to that goal. Remember, whenever you're in the bad mood, is this benefiting me? Is this giving me something to work towards, or can I use this as fuel? I'm mad right now. How can I use this to achieve more? How can I use this to get to where I want to go quicker, not postpone it? Because like last night was huge for me and Mike. Like I got off that webinar and I looked at him and I'm like, holy fuck, I think that was the best webinar like that I have learned from in a long time, because we literally talked to each other about how we were failing in this moment. Because exactly 1 year ago, and it's so crazy to wake up to that memory of what we did 1 year ago, but that 1 year ago, we were so angry in that moment. Our video had so much emotion because we were so angry with what was going on in our lives. We were so angry that we might lose everything. We were so angry that we might have to move back to Fort St. John because we couldn't afford our life in Kelowna anymore. We were so angry that we couldn't give our kids anything. I could barely even put food in the goddamn fridge last year, 365 days ago. I would go to the grocery store and I would fucking cry because I couldn't afford to fucking buy them school snacks. And we used that anger to create the success that we have in this year. And now we don't use those emotions the way that we used them a year ago, and it's failing us. And I came out of that webinar last night and I'm like, holy fuck, Michael. We have to go back to that moment of using our anger and our emotions that we come across every single day. It doesn't matter how good your life is, you're still going to get angry. You're still going to get upset. You're still going to have those moments of depression because something's not working. And it's all in how you use it. Last year, we fucking used it for everything. We pushed and pushed and pushed because we knew we didn't want to be there anymore. And now we're so comfortable because we are making the money that we don't use those emotions in the same way. We use those emotions to ruin our relationships. We use those emotions to take it out on our kids. We use those emotions to not work on the business the way we should that day. And we're not using it as a benefit. And it's crazy to see, like, one word that Aaron said to us last night, and I'm like, what the fuck? That is so us. We were using it as fuel before, and now we're using it as not as a benefit. And it's crazy. And it doesn't matter what you're going through, is if it's anger, depression, a hard time, use it to push yourself. Use that moment to push yourself out of it, because that's where the success comes from. We all have those emotions and we're always going to have them. It's just how you use them. I don't know. And then I couldn't sleep all night, and then I figured out the fucking like thing and the friends thing, and I was like, wow, okay, I'm on something.
I love that you brought that up, because when, like, last night for me, the webinar was huge because he talks about, and I think this is the first time that we really actually like resonated with somebody, because before we got into this, we weren't in financial distress. We weren't at a rock bottom at all in financial ways. And like the way that he shared his story, the way that he shared his story about like being at a rock bottom emotionally, that was the first time Dustin's resonated to somebody. And like, because he has been feeling in like undeserving type way. So what he shared last night was huge, and it brought a new perspective to us. And like, you know, the manifestation of Dustin's job going away, I think that was partly, yeah, that's what we wanted, but I think for more than just one reason. I think it was like Dustin thought or felt that he needed that I don't have anything to build back up from, so that he could feel deserving of having this opportunity. And it was like a huge eye-opener last night for us, because there's more than just financial rock bottom. Like, he was not able to grow anymore in his career. He was at top rate. He was where he was going to be for the next 30 years. So I think that was huge on the webinar last night. Of being,
and like, we were with Aaron through all of those struggles at those events. Like, he was so mad after those events because he came out of those events and was like, these events ruined my business. That's exactly the words he said. He was so mad, dude. We couldn't even talk to him. Like, he was red in the face and his like fiery red hair, and he was mad. He's like, I hate these events. I'm never coming back to another one. It just ruined everything for me. Because I cannot resonate with anything anybody's saying here. I am comfortable. I have everything that I need. And I was using the business just to get me more. And now I feel like shit. And he went through 2 events like that. And it was hard to watch him because we would all come out all pumped up and happy and stoked out of these events, like the ones like Awaken, like those kind of events, not necessarily Gaz, like if somebody came to that one, but Awaken, where it's like really working on your core and your subconscious. And he would come out of these events and he'd be so mad. And we'd try to be like, Aaron, you're not seeing the big picture. Yes, you have this perfect life, and who cares? You can help others, help with their perfect life. You don't have to fix yours to fix others. And he would still be mad because he's like, no, if I don't have anything anybody can relate to, what the hell am I doing here? I don't deserve to be here. I didn't have a rock bottom. But those moments at those events were his rock bottom. And after the 2 events, he finally realized it after going home and realizing, this is my rock bottom. I can't figure out my own damn self enough to help others. And that's what I need to work on. That's where I need to go. I might not be financially rock bottom like 80% of the people in here, but I'm emotionally fucked. And it was crazy to watch him, like, on a personal level, go through those struggles. And like, we would fight with him there, like, stop being like that, Aaron, you're being silly. And he was like literally going to fly home after spending all that money after this first or second day. He was going to go home for the 4-day event or whatever it was. He wasn't even going to stay for the end of it. He was so mad. And we convinced him to stay, and he finally, was able to see the light and was able to understand his low points, was able to understand what was going on. And he was so mad in those moments, and he used that as fuel to figure it out. We all have moments. We all have that shit that we don't understand. We all have those moments where we can't relate to people because we aren't struggling. Not for me, I was completely struggling, but in financial debt. But for now I understand Aaron's pain, because now we're not financially struggled. But we still have those moments of pain, and how the fuck am I supposed to relate to these people now? Because that was a year ago. Now I'm a totally different person. And how am I going to relate to them? And now I understand where Aaron was coming from all those months ago. I understand, because we're in the same place now. We go through all these, things to make us better. We go through all these events. We make the money. We've made the money. We do the book reading. We do all these things. And we're lost. And we're like, well, now what do we fucking do? And it's just like, you continuously have to be working on how are you going to better yourself for the next person? How are you going to understand their struggles in a way that can relate to you at this point in given time? Because that's the point of this, you guys. We are here to affect other people and to impact their life in a benefit, and to help them impact you. It's not all about just them or you. It's about us together as a community. So I don't know, dude. That last night webinar blew my fucking mind. Again, this whole month. October.
I have to shoot a new VAD video today.
You do?
Yeah, I just, oh God, I'm gonna cry. No, for us, Adrian is a heavy duty mechanic, so he makes good money. And then we moved, especially in Yellowknife, he made like $120 a year. So that is really a good fucking salary. And then we moved to the Yukon last year, and he had a pay cut of about a third. But we took that because we wanted to move to the Yukon. We loved it here. We wanted to be surrounded by mountains again, to have a bigger property, because in Yellowknife it's just, 6,000 square feet property are big. And so we were like, come on, that's gonna work out. We're gonna, even with the pay cut, that won't be an issue. We'll make it work. And we did. We bought like 2 new trucks. We bought 2 ATVs. Adrian bought 2 tricycles, and I don't even know how we did it. And when you just said, like, Aaron, that because I didn't watch last night's webinar because we were fixing up the room.
I'll watch it later.
So, yeah, I have to. And when you just said, like, he never had financial struggle, of course we wanted more, Adrian and I, when I started. And yeah, we don't have the money to buy just an empty lot and build our dream log house yet, but I hit rock bottom like a couple months ago when family was here, and everything I've been doing, like, I started to do meditation, self-hypnosis, and and just the personal stuff I was changing up. They questioned everything. When I did yoga, my brother walked in and he was like, how can you do yoga? It's Eastern stuff. And he's strictly Christian. And I believe in God too, but I was like, why? What am I supposed to do? He said, well, you can still do the exercise itself, but you should call it stretching. I was like, seriously, dude? And everything, they were questioning everything. And they really, I wasn't in very good mental shape when they came here because I didn't have a lot of self-confidence back then. But they really, like, in German, you say they rip out the carpet underneath your feet, like they pull it away and then you fall down, kind of thing. And that happened. And I'm so thankful that friends came over because they were really building me up, because I was so low. And when you just said, like, even if you're, there are different rock bottoms. It doesn't need to be financial. It can be personal. And that's exactly what happened with me.
Yeah.
It's because you're my avatar and you and I are in the same place. And it took last night for me to see that. And then I was like, that we relate in such a way that, like, you came in and you just bought the trifecta, just like Dustin and I. It was like no big deal. Like, yeah, we have the money for that. We don't need to finance that. That's fine. Like, or even if you do need to finance it, it was just like, this is okay. And not relating to a different rock bottom, but still feeling enough of a rock bottom somewhere that you feel the need to change your opportunity or find opportunity. But it was hard for us to relate because the majority of this community is a different type of rock bottom. So you definitely should go watch that webinar because it really resonated with us.
I'll definitely do that. Yeah, because I don't know. I joined mid-April and I haven't had a sale, and I've been like freaking out. I was like, we have like the payments for the machine and everything, and I believe in everything, and I believe in this team and this opportunity, and I know I can do it, but somehow it didn't work out. And I started, and then you see Adrian's look, and I thought, like, I'm disappointing him, I'm letting him down, and I'm doing that for our family, and it's not working out, and somehow I couldn't make it work. Oh God. And then a couple of weeks ago, I don't even know what clicked with me, when I talked that last Thursday's webinar. I don't even know. It's just, I don't know. I think it's especially these Zooms right now, because when I started, we had the Sunday Zooms that were like this, and we were able to talk to each other. And I know you can get a lot out of the Sunday webinars, but I miss, this, talking to each other, hear everybody else's story, and, that personal touch. I think that's what I was missing. And I think when I started to attend these, I think that's where it changed for me.
I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Our Zooms have been full of tears lately, but you know what? We have to use those moments of tears for inspiration. And you are having such a moment today. You have to, like you said, you didn't even say I need to, or like you want to. It was a have to.
Yeah.
I have to go make a video ad today. because you're so full of emotion, and you need to use that as inspiration. Because like I said earlier, the anger, the hurt, the depression, the not feeling good enough, those are all emotions that we can use as fuel. They don't have to be negative emotions. These moments, we're all going to have them, and we have to use them to make something great and benefit us.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody else feeling just the way you are today, Kate. And if you don't put out that video, you are holding it back from them. You're being selfish because you're holding your emotions to yourself. That's how we make it.
Yeah, and that's what I learned. Like, what was that? I think on Friday when we had the webinar, when we had our Zoom, I realized that, I mean, even if you think like something you want to say or put out there is unimportant or probably nobody's going to even care, you never know. There might be just one single person on the internet that happens for a reason to stumble over your video or a quote you post or whatever, and that changes their whole day. It might even change their whole life. You never know. And as you said, it's selfish of us to keep stuff in. And that's what I love I think it was the last chapter of the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins, where she said, leave nothing unsaid. Like, I mean, we all have that. I have that constantly, these moments where you think like, I should say something, and then you hold back. That's when you should just let it out.
Yeah. Totally. I think you need to do a Go Live and a video today. You're just on fire. Use that.
I took a shower, that helped.
You cute.
No, seriously, I got up this morning. I was like, it was just, I had a terrible night, didn't sleep well, and I was like, oh gosh, that day's ruined. I was like, no, it's not going to be ruined. We're having a Zoom, and then I will feel better, and I do, and I love these.
That's good.
So.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're here.
Yeah.
Dave, what was your goals for last week? How'd you come into achieving them, and how are you going to carry them on to this week and create new goals?
Well, my goals last week were to try and get on more phone calls, or try and get better at the phone calls. And the same pattern kind of took place. Like I messaged there, I said I had a call before for the Zoom here, but I had a call yesterday and they don't answer. I just get their answer machine. Like I even message in the morning and they would reply back and saying that, yeah, I can make the phone call. And so then like 10 minutes prior to the phone call, I'd be like, are we good? And then I didn't get the message, and then I would phone them. Like the one guy today, this is the second time that he's dodged a phone call. So, like, I guess what you guys are talking about there, it kind of related yesterday, because I was mad. I was mad because they weren't answering the phone call. And so then, like you were saying, just try to be positive about it and don't get too upset. Because like I was ready. Like I still haven't had that first phone call, and you know, you get a little nervous, and once the phone call is coming, you get even a little more nervous. But I was more mad that I didn't get the phone call out of the way, or it didn't happen, you know, because I was prepared. I was ready to go. But then, like I messaged Trevor and I told him that, you know, another phone call dodged, and then I just said to him, yeah, oh well, you know, I'll make another. I got another phone call tomorrow. Hopefully that works. And obviously it didn't, but no, that's what I try and do, is try and see the positive out of it. That okay, that phone call didn't work, but the next one will work, and eventually I'll have my first phone call, and hopefully I'd nail my $99. So hopefully.
Why don't we set up something like a one-on-one with you and Mike, and try and go through your messages and see like what he thinks maybe you could change in the way that you're talking to them to get them more on to getting on the phone with you. Or because you're on the right track, you're booking the phone calls. You just have to remember that. For me, I have 99 opt-ins, but I don't have a buyer yet. Like I have
Right.
99 opt-ins just from the last 2 weeks, but I don't have a buyer yet. So I know I'm on the right track. I just have to tweak little things to figure out where the hell I'm going wrong. And Mike on my case, because I haven't got a $99 buyer yet, but I got all these freaking opt-ins, and he's like, "What are you doing, woman?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So
Well,
it's in tweaking a little bit and figuring out what, not necessarily what you're doing wrong, but what we could be doing better.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like I've been trying things, and if that doesn't work, like say somebody asks for info, I'll try a thing with that. And if that doesn't work, then I'll switch it up. So maybe I'm just all over the map.
Well, when you say you're trying something, how long do you try that one thing for before you give it up? How many or do you just try something new for each lead?
Well, I try it, say 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And then, if say I get advice from you guys or I get advice online, then I'll try that. So maybe
you're
I'm
on the
not
right track.
with it.
Yeah, you're on the right track. You're trying. You're not continuously doing the same thing over and over and over. That's insanity. You are trying new things, and you are still booking the calls. You are taking the step to actually get the phone call booked. Now we just have to figure out how we're going to actually get these people to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to do it in a way that's, I have 5 minutes right now. I can hop on the phone call with you right now. Instead of booking, getting them on the phone right that moment. Have you tried that?
Well, I haven't tried that, but like I had used your guys' advice there last week about it's not on their schedule, it's on my schedule. So one guy
use that 5 minutes, say I'm fully booked for the next few days, but I got 5 minutes right now before my next call. Do you want to hop on now? You can still use that urgency and your schedule in a way that gets them on right now, because maybe because everybody's lead lists are different. It depends on the people you're targeting. If you're targeting people that get easily distracted and like have a lot going on in their life, maybe that's why they're missing the phone calls. It's not because they don't want to talk to you. It's just because they're not checking Facebook enough to remember that they have a call with you.
Yeah.
Right? And then when they get this weird number, they're like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
So
like the guy yesterday, I really thought he was gonna get on the phone with me because he had messaged me a while for info, and so I gave him a little bit, and then he didn't reply back. So then I kind of went through my whole list and be like, okay, I was gonna start ending the conversation, like they weren't getting back to me. So then I just said, well, I'll just give them one last chance and send out one last message. And this guy did. He's like, yeah, I do want more info. And then we got talking a little more, and every time I asked him about the phone call, he said that he'd be on the phone call. He wants more info. And
so in the past, has he been really what's the word, like floppy, like not always answering you back right on time? And like you said, like you had to send a follow-up and said this was my last message, and then he was like, okay.
No, he was like, at the start it was.
Yeah.
But and then after a bit, he was pretty quick to answer. So.
You know what? I'm going to talk to Mike, see if he has some, like, do you have free time today? Or like when if I could arrange something, not if, when I can arrange something with Mike, give me some time slots that would work for you. And
I could probably, well, can I get back to you on today? I could probably do it today, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, sure. Why don't you just
I go back to work tomorrow, so today would be the better day. But
he's just on a coaching call right now. Otherwise, I'd say let's do it after the Zoom. And I don't know how many coaching calls he has today, but honestly, I think let's do that. Like, even if we can try and get Trevor on it too, and they can both look at everything. I know Trevor's looked at your stuff before, but maybe having 2 eyes with fresh eyes look at it.
Yeah, like I talked to Trevor there just to see what he does, like when giving the info.
He's really good at it. He's really good.
And like I said, I've been kind of all over the map, so I've been trying to do what he does. And like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but.
Yeah, and that could be the problem, right? Like you're trying, like we always say, you have to test things, because sometimes things that work for Trevor, things that work for Mike don't necessarily are going to resonate with you and your lead list. But I think by looking at your lead list, how they're replying to you, how they're speaking to you, you'll be able to figure out a different way of doing it. Thanks, Kate. Be able to figure out a different way to doing it that resonates with your lead list. Because just because it works for Trevor and Mike doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work for you.
Right.
And you're on the right path by testing everything. But
like this
time.
like this past week, I've been actually getting a lot more action than the previous week, because I had 4 different ad sets, and I had 2 of them going, and I was testing those out, and they were all right, but they weren't great. So then I switched to the other 2 ad sets, and then I was getting a lot more opt-ins, and then I was getting a lot more people texting or messaging wanting more info. So like it was like the one day, like there was how many, and then it continued the next day, but then they weren't replying back. Like I'd send them the info, and so some were, but.
So when you said you send them the info, those are your first messages. Like what are we'll do a Zoom, private Zoom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It'll be better. Okay, cool.
I'll try and bring up some of the conversations, and I'll try and remember some of the stuff that I messaged. But I can after
what I
the
would
Zoom.
do is I'd get the ones that you've booked calls with in the last week, pull up, prepare them so you know exactly where to find them on the Zoom, and get those people and show those messages, because those are the ones that matter, right? The ones where we're booking calls, we need to figure out where the hell they've missed the call and see what you did different for each one and see where we could fix it a little bit. I think that's the best plan. So when you have time, let us know what time would work best. I'll get Michael to arrange something and see if maybe Trevor's available too, because he's so good at messaging.
After this Zoom, I'll figure out my schedule. But today should work. I just don't know offhand when.
Even if it's later tonight too, like after the webinar. I know Michael's going to go on the webinar because I definitely have a couple leads going in. Does anybody think they got opt-ins going into the webinar tonight?
I'll have to look here.
Yeah, that's good. Michael's going to go on it, so he'll do the testimonial for us.
I guess that was another question of mine was should we be opted in on all the webinars, or like if you see people opting in, should you be on those webinars all the time?
Just wait. Well, you just said it to all of them. Oh, Michael Martin. Well, anyway. So, Mike, are you on the phone right now? Yeah. Can you just come here quickly? Dave really needs you to look at his messaging and have a one-on-one with him at some point today. Is there a time frame that works for you best?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll figure it out. He's going to look at his schedule and give you some options for time.
Why doesn't he go to Trevor?
Trevor has, but he wants another look at because he's had even more missed calls this week. Like he's booking the phone calls, but nobody's answering them. So he just wants someone to look at them, see where maybe he's going wrong, because he's testing out a lot of different things, and that could be too.
Yeah, testing too much is going to be too much, right?
Yeah, so
you're changing it up completely. It's not. If you're changing everything up completely, it's not gonna work, right? Like little tiny tests here and there, like just changing one simple thing instead of changing the whole thing. Like if you would have seen our webinar last night with me and Aaron, like when we go and test something little simple, not like change the whole thing, because the whole thing, then you get lost, and then you have to backtrack to what you
don't know what was working,
right? You don't know what was working, right?
Well, that's kind of what I was saying to Kat there. That it was, I try a few meshes 2 or 3 times, and then if I get information from, say, you guys or, say, Trevor, then I'll try that, and then I'll try different things. So that's why I said maybe I'm just all over the map and trying, when they ask for info and I give them something, this one guy, give him that, and then try something different with the next guy, and try something different with the next guy, and maybe that's what it is. I'm just all over the map with my messaging.
Yeah.
I don't know what's working.
Yeah, that could be. So all he wants is for you to kind of have a quick look at the ones that have gone to the phone calls but no answer, and he messages them. He follows up before the phone call, make sure they're aware that he does. He just wants a fresh look. So if you could spend 15-20 minutes Yeah, cool. So yeah, let us know some time frames and then we'll work it out with his call schedule, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. Michael walked away from me. Anybody else didn't tell me their goals for the week? Dustin and Candace, I know we talked a lot, but I guess Dustin's probably not there. I just saw the name.
All right, so here's the thing, like.
Did you give us, I don't even know if she's there. But yeah. Anything else that you guys want to touch on today? I know we've gone on for quite a while, but I think it's been really good this morning. So I love Monday morning. No, nobody.
I got another lead.
Oh, yay!
Just sitting here.
Good.
Yeah.
Candace, do you want to go over your goals for the week? I know we talked about a lot of things, but I don't think we talked about your goals specifically.
My goals for the week is finishing my ads. I've been using Filmora. I played around with it a little bit and did my little content video on my page. But now I'm doing my ad and have to get a couple more videos for what I want on my ad, but I'm going to be finishing that because it's my money ad. I'm like that little train that just keeps going and going. But yeah, doing that and
oh, Mike, I'm just gonna thank you.
what else was my goal for the week? I had another one. Oh, I'm doing conversion, not the other one. Oh, I mean, I'll do both. Like, she's so great inside.
Most of my conversions have turned into really good post engagements as well.
Yeah,
Don't
and
be
I
scared that
really
you won't
would like
get
to do that again.
Yeah, because like all of my conversions lately have all turned into their own kind of post engagement. Like one of them, I have like 170 comments on one, right? And it's supposed to be a conversion. I'm not supposed to have to talk to anybody, but it's just working out that way. And so don't be scared when you run a conversion that you're not going to get that engagement with your people. If you do a good call to action at the top, you're still going to get that. You don't have to run separate, right? As long as your written is really good, you're still going to get that post engagement. And it's only going to help the algorithm to.
Yeah, my one really good ad that has like 150 comments was in conversion, so I feel like I missed a lot of people.
She's like, I want to talk. I want to do all of the talking. You're not allowed. But yeah, I really love this Zoom this week. I think my goal is to catch up on my breakthrough experience. I kind of shit the bed this weekend, but I'm going to catch up on the breakthrough experience. I loved all your guys' little videos this weekend. I love and appreciate the kick in the ass because every time you guys post one, I'm like, fuck, I didn't do mine. And I love it. You guys are pushing me as you know, Mama Cat to get back on her shit. So I love that. I'm going to go to yoga more consecutive days this week because last week I did not. And what else am I going to do this week? Oh, I'm going to close some goddamn $99 buyers, yo. I got all these opt-ins and no buyers. So I'm going to close some. I got 99 opt-ins sitting in my back office. I want, you know, I want some of them. So I'm working on that. And, pardon, what'd you say, Candace?
I said that was my other goal. I forgot. I have 2 calls booked this week, so my goal is to close them on the phone.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
sorry,
a good idea.
totally cut you off. Love you.
All right, guys. Well, I love and appreciate you. I think we'll cut off. It's already 11, and this is the only thing I've done today. I haven't even messaged my leads back yet. So I'm going to go work on $99 bias and maybe do some reading before my kids come home. So I love you guys. Appreciate you.
See you later.
Thanks a lot.
This is fire.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.